Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Rich. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commenters, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the pilot episode of The Crow, Stairway to Heaven. Now, The Crow, based on a comic book, then there was the movie Brandon Lee, which is a good movie. It's just sad that Brandon Lee died during the making of it. They've been trying to make a Crow ever since. I mean, The Crow 2 I thought was awful. Crow 3 was tolerable. Crow 4, With Your Prayer with Edward Furlong, easily the worst of the four films. And I know there's like, oh, they've been trying to make a Crow film for over a decade. They've thrown every name. At one point it was at one point it was like there was gonna be Jason Momoa, and I did like every name is Bradley Cooper. Like they threw every name. Now they're throwing what Bill Skarsgård. I think that was it the guy who was Pennywise in It. They're throwing his name in. They throw a name like every 5 months. And I'm like, you know what? Or every year. Really, every year they always throw a different name. And I'm like, you know what? I'll buy it when they're making it, and then I'll bitch about it. In which, you can't remake The Crow. It was Brendan Lee. It was bread and butter. It was what it was. It's a good movie. You're not going to get better than that. So just stop. The closest they came to it, I will say, is Mark Dacascos, who's the star of the show. Now, I have not seen much of the show. In fact, I would say this is the first episode I've seen all the way through, the pilot. I will admit, though, the pilot did not really impress me. I gotta say, I wasn't really a big fan of the pilot. Maybe it's a show that gets better. But Mark Dacascos is the MVP. Without him, this would be a rant. Without him doing what he can with the few fight scenes, the limited stuff he could do during the fight scenes, he's got the look. I think he's a decent actor. You know, he's great in films like Drive and what's the movie? Crying Freeman. I'm sitting there going, well, first off, did it have to be a remake of the first movie? Did it have to be Eric Draven? At least the sequels, they were their own. It wasn't Eric Draven. It was just their own characters. Now, granted, Mark Dacascos is a great fit to replace Brandon Lee. I'll give you that. But then they say, why can't it just be a sequel to the first movie? Instead, you gotta be like a remake where he comes back to life. He's gotta meet the girl for the first time again. He's gotta meet the cop again. It's not the first time, but he's gotta meet this girl he knew before. He's got to meet this cop that maybe he's known before, or maybe not in this one. Because he knew Ernie Hudson in the movie. Here, not so much. But it's just like, or maybe I don't remember. Maybe he did. But then you got the same type of villains, like Top Dollar. I'm sitting there going, do we really need to go down this road again? And I don't know, the look of the show, like it begins with him in the afterlife, and he sees his wife and realizes they're both dead. It's done like everything's glossed in Vaseline, and then he's brought back to Earth to make the wrong things right. And then early on, you have the little girl at a gravesite, and the cop comes by, and the little girl goes, I hate them. I even think about hating them. She's talking about the people that murdered these two. The people who murdered them, I hate them. I hate even thinking about hating them. I thought that was a really shitty line. I hate even thinking about hating them. I think that's a bad line. And so, I almost said Brandon Lee. Mark Dacascos comes back his character Eric Draven to Land of Living. He sees this guy being the shot of his wife. He beats the guy up. At the end, you don't get to see much. Maybe because it's TV, maybe because the budget. Although, like, martial law, you saw a bit of that. But I guess, again, with limitations of TV, time, what you're able to do, it's not going to be movie quality. Just no way it will be. Or pretty much no way it will be. So, it's like you get this really talented martial arts, but you can only do so much, so it limits his ability, sadly. And the camera, at times, trying to be, like, shaky. I think it's trying to be like NYPD Blue, like those cop shows at times. At least in the police station scenes it was, where the camera, you tell, is like handheld. It's kind of moving like this. And the thing is with remaking the first movie is just that the cop is nowhere near as good as Ernie Hudson. The bad guys are nowhere near as good as the bad guys in the first movie. These bad guys just seem very blasé versions of the characters in the first movie. That's what I mean, is that by making me think of the first movie, it just draws off unfair comparisons. But at the same time, you compare it because it's the same characters, or the same names, or same idea, and even goes to a pawn shop and scares the guy at the pawn shop. There's even a bit where he has to scare the mom to make sure her daughter is being a better, make sure that, hey, take care of your daughter. Stop being a bad mother. Only instead of in that one, he does it so the drug is like comes out of her pores. He does this thing where he does this and people kind of convulse and they see and feel the pain. Which he did that a little bit in the first movie, to be fair. They do a lot more in this. Now, I like the idea that he doesn't have to put on the makeup just because of this curse. His face would kind of alter to look like that makeup. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting difference they put in there. And Mark Dacascos is doing a wonderful job. He's having fun with the role. Hey, only one to a customer. And he's fucked with the pawn shop guy, and he's willing to get shot because he knows he can't do anything to him, and he has some one-liner rapports to the bad guys, to the cop. Like I said, Mark Dacascos is making this work as best as he can. And even the fight at the end where he fights this guy, like he throws another guy through a window, he fights this guy, and you get a bit of, you get to see a little bit of Mark's kicking and taking the guy's belt and using the belt as a weapon and smacking the guy while the other guy has a sword. And you see what it goes forward where the cop now thinks Eric Draven faked his death and murdered his wife. When he's fighting the guy says, oh, well, someone wanted her boyfriend dead, she just got in the way. And he's like, wait, someone wanted me dead? So you got that mystery of who wanted him dead and why did they want him dead. This little girl is an ally. She's one of the few that knows he's around. He's able to give people pain and let them maybe convulse or get their kind of mind melted, so to speak, in pain and despair. I like that some of the music is a little bit from the movie, but of course because they can't use the songs, which is another big difference. Is that The Crow had a wonderful soundtrack. Here, the main theme score, it's there, but I mean, I could take it or leave it. Like I say, I hate being like lukewarm on this because I think Mark Dacascos is better than the product around him. I think if you took Mark out and you have the same thing but with an okay person at the helm. I mean, I know this lasted one season, but this might not have even lasted one season. And from what I understand, there was talks of doing a season 2 because the ratings were decent, but I think the company was bought out by another studio, and then they're like, no, we don't want to do any more of this TV show. Probably because they wanted to do movies instead. Look how that worked out for you. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where I guess expectation-wise, you know, the fight scenes are not going to be up to par with movies, just not how it is with this budget and time constraints they have. But it's just that, again, trying to remake the first film, and I just see like the actors, other than Mark, the other actors are really meh or subpar. Or meh. Like the cop, I thought the cop was very meh guy. Yeah. Mark is good. I keep hampering on that. The rest of it, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, I was still taking over The Crow 2 and The Crow 4. But maybe it's one of those shows that gets better. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.